The conversation, but first let us tease our farm joke of the day. Mr. Nahashon will have a farm joke of the day that you'll have to crack for us at the end of the show. And just to give you the question now, what we're asking is, what is a table that you can eat? All right, so you think about it, you'll give me an answer at the end of the show. But for now, let us continue with the conversation, and we want to talk about quality of our macadamia nuts, because that is where some of our farmers are getting it wrong. And to talk about that, we'll move to this side of the set. That's okay? Okay. All right, come along with me. So, we want to make sure that the quality that our farmers are producing is good enough for the export market, is good enough also for the local consumption. Kwa sababu hatutaki kuexport ile mzuri, tunabaki hapa na ile mbaya, si ndio? So we have a challenge. Some of the quality that our farmers are producing looks like this. Yes. This is not quality that can be processed into the nut that is expected in the international market. And it doesn't look good. It's tasteless, it doesn't look good. But we also have this size, which is very small. All right? So talk to us about what are the common mistakes that farmers do while they're growing the macadamia that may lead us to getting such poor quality of nuts.
Violet, now it starts now again with the nursery. If a farmer buys the wrong variety or the indigenous variety, this is the results. The small. At the size. And again, when we graft, there are some qualities we add to that variety. One is that we add quality. We get premium nuts. You see these nuts?
So this is a premium nut? Yes,
of course.
The characters of a premium nut?
In fact, it is even more than 20 millimeters diameter.
Right.
But the minimum is 18. When you get to do the best agronomy with your crops, and you plant the best variety, you get premium nuts. Less affected by diseases and less affected by pests.
Right.
So this one will automatically decrease, because that's why these are insect damage.
Right.
You can see much of this is
insect damage.
Now, ukiangalia, most of the time it is the indigenous variety.
Right.
So we need to have good agronomy to get premium nuts. Again, there are other factors. Poor storage. If you store your nut but in the wrong way, after getting this fresh from the farm, you must dehusk. Remove this husk, green
immediately?
Husk. Immediately.
What is the challenge of keeping it?
Within 48 hours, you are supposed to remove this one.
All right.
Why? Because this nut, if you have a look at this nut, it is porous. This part is porous.
Or where we have the line.
Yes, that's where the germination starts. So because this one has a lot of moisture, it will still start sucking the moisture from the green husk. And what ends up in the nut, it stains the kernel inside and becomes moldy. And that's one of the worst enemy of macadamia. Wakati unapiga unaona inatoa moshi. This is mold nut.
This is mold inside, and this is the farmer who left this for a longer period of time. For a longer
period without dehusking.
All right.
So dehusking must be done almost immediately.
Right.
And if not immediately, after
48 hours. All right. Now, you've also mentioned something very important, on you have to get the correct hybrid varieties. Talk to us about the varieties that we do have here. And for someone who wants to get into this sector and they want the high-yielding one, what do they need to go for?
We have different agroecological zones. So you cannot plant any variety anywhere.
Right.
We have to match the two. And that's a big problem with our farmers. Even with the officers in the ministry, they only advocate for Muranga 20 because you can see Muranga 20.
Right, you can please go and touch it. Don't worry.
Okay. So you can see Muranga 20 has no spikes and its shape is roundish. You see, it has no spikes. That's why everybody likes it. But it is the worst yielder for sure.
Really?
Yeah, it is the lowest yielder. Okay. We have Kiambu 3. You can see this one. A lot of spikes and a very high yielder, more than 60 kilograms per year of nuts.
All right.
But it has a disadvantage of corruption. Inakatika sana. It's a heavy bearer. So in most cases, you find that but we have improved on it. I think you have seen it.
Yes.
It is now not breaking. So it's one of the varieties we have introduced.
So this is a high yielder.
Yes.
Kiambu 3.
We have Kirinyaga, the highest yielder, but larger in canopy. And it takes longer. More than 3 years. This will take 3 years to start bearing. This will take 4 to 5 years. But the heaviest bearer, up to 250 kilograms.
That's Kirinyaga 15. And where can I grow it? Which parts of the country favor the growth?
All the 3 are the best for main coffee zones. But for specific areas like the tea areas, you plant Kiambu 3 specifically. And for the lower regions where we have drought, you plant Muranga 20. It's drought resistant.
Right. Now, let us talk about the young people in this agri sector. Unajua, when you're talking about macadamia, kwanza kishasikia propagation 2 years, then the cost of the seedling is 350. Then there's all these challenges, then there's no processing, then there's no money. It kind of makes you feel discouraged from getting into this agribusiness in the first place. Yet you say there's a lot of money in the macadamia sector. Please talk to that young person who now anangoja tu ile the final straw ya kumconvince this is the agri sector to go into. What can you tell them?
Let them not be. In fact, it's a large sector. Right from the nursery, we have the aggregation, we have the orchard management itself, those from Egerton and other agricultural institutes. It's a big business. Spraying, doing all the orchard practices, exporting, roasting, baking macadamia, pressing oil. What we should do now, this era, you know, the era of Gen Z, people must work. Those who are in the research must do something. The government itself, especially the AFA, the NOCD, must remove that ban so that the farmer can fetch more. And the young generation, we will see their parents, they have now started doing business in macadamia. They will become rich. But now with that current ban, things won't work well. Now, this is the third time for macadamia to be cut down. The first time was in 1977. The second one was in 2016, the other day. We had to write a petition when the processors refused to buy. Wakasema there's no market. And they stayed until July. We had to write a petition in the parliament to go and we met the Committee for Agriculture, which gave licenses to those people who are there.
Right. And
they removed all the backlog. Right. So this is frustrating, not even to the parents, exes, and Rock of Ages. It's also frustrating to the Gen Zs, because there's no business. Advertisements. Yeah, there's a lot of work in macadamia.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so very much, Mr. Nahashon, for talking to us about this agri-sector and also helping us learn how we can create a harmonious relationship all the way from wewe pale kwa nursery to the exporter. Sindio? Yes. Now, as we wind up, before we put a full stop to it, of course, you have to give us the answer for our farm joke of the day. Mr. Nahashon, are you ready? The question was, what is a table that you can eat? You have 3 seconds to think about it. 1. Meza gani unaweza kula, Mr. Nahashon? Meza. Hey, don't overthink it. It's so simple. What's a table that you can eat? Well, it's so simple. The answer is a vegetable. Oh. Table of veggies. You know, it's a table. It's a table that you can eat. All right? I'm happy with that one. All right. So it was that simple. Now, thank you so very much for talking to us. What we used to do when we were young with macadamia, the one that was destroyed by rats, we used it as a whistle. Oh. And the smallest one, we used to put there and make it a thunder. Can I try? Let's see how good my whistle is. I know it's really bad. Yeah. You are not experienced.
Now we have come to the end of the show. Very big thanks to all the farmers that made this episode a success. Of course, Mr. Nahashon, thank you so very much for being so generous with your time, and the audience for choosing to be with us every single day of the week. We say a very big thanks. We'll see you again tomorrow, and we will be going back all the way to Turkana County. Until then, do have yourselves a fantastic evening. My name is Violetta Ngina. Goodbye.
Bye.